Hi, my sweet peas. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dixie Lincoln-Nichols, and I believe in the expansiveness and wholeness of well-being. And in that vein, today I want to talk about something that impacts our well-being, something that's not talked about a lot, but something that's really important, especially if you have experienced menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, you are aging into it, you have a partner who is close to your age, who is also going through their own changes, but's not talking about it. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the other pause. And what's that? It's andropause. Now, some people love to call it the male menopause. Stop it. It is not male menopause. It is andropause. Now, you don't hear people walking around saying that menopause is the female andropause. Now, do you? You probably never even heard of the term andropause, but it's a thing. It exists and it happens to men. So just like you don't hear the term female andropause, we shouldn't use the term male menopause. It's andropause. And andropause is similar to menopause. During menopause, women start losing estrogen and progesterone, their hormones start declining. And along with that comes symptoms and changes in the body. The same thing happens with men. During andropause, their body begins to lose testosterone, which is their primary hormone. So, what does that mean for them? It means that there are changes that happen to their bodies, physical changes, and of course, biological changes that impacts their body, how their body functions. And so you can see why they want to say andropause is male menopause, but we shouldn't. They are two very different biological processes happening to two very different groups of people. And so we should just own what each of us are going through, right? Right. That's my opinion. So, what's happening to the body during andropause? Let's talk about some of the similarities. During andropause and during menopause, people experience mood swings, depression, insomnia, headaches, night sweats, weight gain, and bone loss. And that happens to both andropause and menopausal people. Some of the things that are different include in andropause, men have decreased motivation, lack of focus, low energy, muscle loss, mild to moderate erectile dysfunction. I don't know if I agree with that term, mild to moderate, like trying to make it sound like it's not so serious, right? It's not so serious. Whereas with the women, they don't have any qualms saying low libido. With men, it's mild to moderate dysfunction and, of course, muscle loss. For women, forgetfulness or brain fog, hot flashes, nausea, heart palpitations, irregular periods, vaginal dryness. And there are a host of other symptoms. Some say over 100 symptoms. I know there are probably about 30 something that are recognized by the medical community. I have experienced, aside from the ones that I just read out, frozen shoulder, altered spatial awareness, formication, tinnitus, dry eyes, dry skin, dry down there, and a host of other symptoms. I'm not going to go into what those are. I really just want to focus on andropause and the fact that it exists. And it does have an impact on the relationship, just like menopause has an impact on a relationship. And so it's not just, I shouldn't say a relationship, but menopause has an impact on relationships because it impacts personal relationships in terms of significant other. It impacts relationships with people in the household, say children and other family members. It also impacts professional relationships, relationships in the workplace, because you are interacting with people. And as your mood changes, as your body changes, as you go through all of these and experience all of these different symptoms, it can have an impact. Imagine having these anger outbursts and these mood swings, and you are dealing with people in your household, how that can turn out. I know because I've had them. I've had outbursts. I've had mood swings, didn't realize what was happening until later on. So in hindsight, I know, my gosh, it was menopause that had me acting out. And so men go through this as well, and they experience it as well. And I think it's important for them to address it, be in awareness, acknowledge it so you can take action to navigate it. And one of the reasons I think this is so important for me to talk about is because I've had conversations with women who've said that their significant others have put all of the onus of the changes in their intimate relationships on them. And here's what I mean by that. So they've got spouses or partners who are in the same age range as them. And I'm talking about heterosexual relationships here. And the man is going through andropause. He may not know or have the words and the vocabulary and the understanding and the comprehension to talk about what's happening to him or to have a conversation. The men, rather than talk to their spouses about what's happening to their bodies, use the fact that they know their spouses, their wives are experiencing menopause, and then would say to the wife things like, oh, well, I'm unable to perform because of your low libido, as opposed to saying, I am experiencing mild to moderate erectile dysfunction, and I don't understand why, or maybe I understand why, and I'm experiencing that. So let's talk about what we need to do as a couple to navigate this experience that we're both having. Instead of doing that, they say, oh, I'm not functioning because of you, because of your low libido. It has nothing to do with me. And I think it's because these men knew very well that their wives had no clue that andropause was a thing, because the woman I spoke to didn't even know that andropause existed. And I had to tell them, yes, it does. And these are the symptoms. These are the things that you need to look out for within your relationship that are indicators that your husband is experiencing andropause. Why do I know all of this? Because I have a husband and because he is also in andropause and we are close in age. But because I knew a lot more about andropause than he even knew himself, I was able to introduce the conversation because I knew I'm experiencing menopause. And so he must be experiencing andropause. And I was like, nope, I am not letting him off the hook. We have to talk about this. This is important for our relationship. And it's also important so that I understand where he is biologically and he understands where I am biologically and what's happening to my body. And so I gave him some literature and I said, hey, read this. And if you have any questions, come talk to me. I'm here to answer any questions. At this time, he already knew everything that there was to know about my menopausal experience because I am very open, I'm very upfront, and I'm very candid. He never once said that he was experiencing any changes in the body. That was kept very near and dear. But after I gave him the literature, it took him about a month. And then he came to me and he said, oh, I'm experiencing some of the things that I read about in the literature that you gave me. And I said, oh, good. Let's talk about it. So we had the opportunity to talk about those symptoms, what it meant. We also had the opportunity to talk about the similarities in symptoms that we were experiencing. And the ones that I couldn't relate to, he talked about those. And the ones that he couldn't relate to, where I was concerned, I went a little deeper because I had explained about them before, but this time it gave me the opportunity to go a little deeper in terms of what was happening to my body and how both of our bodies were changing and how it changed our intimate relationship. And that also gave us the opportunity to make some decisions and changes in our lives to accommodate our well-being. Because the thing for me was I didn't want him to be miserable while I was navigating something that I'd never navigated before. And I didn't want to be miserable while he's navigating something that he had never navigated before. And so the way that I saw us navigating this together was each of us understanding what the other person was experiencing. So that way, when we had to make decisions about how we were going to cohabitate, we would do it from a place of knowing, from a place of knowledge, from a place of empathy, from a place of understanding. And that's exactly what we did. I will talk to you on another episode about some of the changes that we made for ourselves that have impacted our relationship and our living in a positive way. We'll talk about that now. But yeah, I just really wanted to dive a little bit into the other pause, andropause, and the fact that I think women need to be aware of this rite of passage as well, because it's a rite of passage. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We know that men have been made to be ashamed of their sexuality, and a lot of who they are tied to that. And so something like erectile dysfunction and low libido are seen as disastrous and even cataclysmic. Hence the reason they don't talk about it. Hence the reason they don't want to talk about it. And hence the reason I notice a lot of men are out there quick to jump on the menopause bandwagon. But what I need you to also do, yes, I love that you're talking about menopause. Please continue to talk about it and support. But what I also want you to do is talk about andropause and how it affects you and how it impacts your relationships and the complexities that it adds to the relationship when someone in the relationship is also experiencing menopause. These are two pathways that simply need to be examined, they need to be navigated, and they need to be navigated honestly and with compassion and with love and with care. So that's it. I just wanted to come on here and sprinkle a little dust on the subject. Didn't want to go too deep, but wanted to make you aware that this is a thing and it's something that needs to be talked about. So if you have a partner, you have a husband, or a partner that you're living with, talk to them about andropause. Bring up the conversation around andropause. It's not just menopause. And I know this might be hard for many women because the fact remains is some women are still ashamed to talk about menopause. Yes, some women are still living in shame to talk about menopause. But what is dysfunctional is not talking about things that are happening to our bodies so that we can actually find solutions to support our well being as we navigate these changes that are happening to us. So, if you are listening to this and you are experiencing andropause, please own it. Please be in awareness of it. Please acknowledge it and please take action to navigate it. Please don't make your significant other, your wife, out to be the villain when there is no villain at all. But to make yourself feel better, you simply put the onus of your changing intimacy onto her because you know that she has a low libido. And because low libido is a symptom of menopause, and you get to extract yourself from the equation. Nope, fall right in line. And your experience plus her experience equal changing experiences that you can both navigate if you're open to it, and it makes for a much better life. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. My name is Dixie Lincoln-Nichols. I believe in the wholeness and the expansiveness of well-being. If this resonates with you, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel here. I really love the experience over here on YouTube and the fact that I get to yap. And yapping seems to be a thing on YouTube. Thank you again so much for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.